Mr. Speaker, to know where we are going is to know where we have come from. Our well-documented history speaks to the triumphant victories earned through a clear vision of a prosperous Zimbabwe. To achieve this, our first objective of independence was attained in 1980. Our second objective of unity was attained in 1987. The land reform phase addressed ownership objective so that this country is not only ours in name, but in real terms. And now we find ourselves going through the economic empowerment phase, ably led by our President, Comrade Dr. E.D. Nagaga. Mr. Speaker, focus on economic development should not only be by word of mouth. Action must show in all areas of government. We must be intentional about economic empowerment over political expediency. This, the President has been leading the way, spelling out the 2030 economic agenda, which has since become a household anthem. This bill, Mr. Speaker, presents an opportunity for Parliament to push forward systems that allow us as a nation to strengthen the resolve that we must be an economic powerhouse. And as such, being the youth representative for Manicaland Province, I fully support Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. In the spirit of economic prosperity, I will share my viewpoints as to why I support this bill. To illustrate the ideological shift, I take into consideration Clause 3, which speaks to the election of the President by Parliament. The direct implication of this clause means the contentious presidential vote, which has been the main cause for post-economic election stagnation, is done away with. Elections have historically been accompanied with economic stagnation and speculation. Businesses not only wait for results, but also react to the particular presidential vote, which means the country cannot truly move forward until all sides have accepted results as they are, something that some of us still grapple with to this day. This provision, Mr. Speaker, removes the potential prospect also of a runoff, which means by historical recordings, breeds violence, uncertainties, and means government spending on unending elections. We have had one runoff in 2008, and I believe we are better off as a country without such circumstances happening ever again. That means once the election of the President is done in Parliament, the country moves forward instantly out of election mode and into nation building. I have to address the misconception that we have taken away the right to vote by citizens. This bill in no way removes the one-man, one-vote as set up by our war veterans pre-1980. Instead, it gives us an opportunity to test the organizational ability of the chosen candidate. Taking a look at our previous elections, in some instances we had more than 20 candidates for president. If we are to be honest with ourselves, the presidency should not be reduced to an office of chancellors. If one feels they are the better candidate, then by all means they should show their ability to coordinate majority MPs in this House, which in itself is a fair balance of the country's regions. Mr. Speaker, our government by nature is a structure. It is impossible to lead the country if you do not believe in structures. This bill will also test the ability of political parties to show their organizational capacities. If you cannot organize your political party to attain more than 50% of MPs in this House, then surely you do not deserve to be President of Zimbabwe. I now bring the attention of the House to Clause 4, 9, and 10 as I zone in on the newly proposed 7 years. Too often the country has had to focus on election after election, with less time attributed to meaningful development. Our President, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, has been exemplary and has once again instilled the belief that we can indeed realize the vision of economic prosperity in our lifetime. Just taking a look from when he took over, we did not have a stable currency, nor did we think we would achieve one. Power cuts were a daily challenge, while our productivity levels were unsatisfactory. Fuel queues were considered a normal occurrence, and the roads were just not up to standards. Even our border posts, Mr. Speaker, were full only of passengers, nothing to import or export. This is the reality we lived in 2017. Now look at the difference 8 years later. Has made not only that on the things we see on ground, but even the mentality of the average forward-thinking Zimbabwean. And these years that I mentioned include the 2 years of slow growth due to COVID-19 and the 2 elections that we had to go through. Imagine what we would be if we went throughout this period without those 2 cycles of elections. 8 years later, where would we be right now? With our growth trajectory and an uninterrupted 7-year cycle, we can finally dare to dream that Zimbabwe can become a high-income economy by 2050. Allow me to shift to the rights of traditional leaders as proposed in this bill, Mr. Speaker, sir. I would want to say, and I would want to highlight, that the bill does not require traditional leaders to be political participants or be politically active. It only proposes that if a traditional leader chooses to engage in politics, they must not be criminalized for doing so. What then does it mean to be politically active or to engage in politics? When traditional leaders go to vote, that in itself is an act of engaging in politics, because you have to pick one political party over another. Should we therefore then deny them the right to vote? By no means. I would go further and use the highlighted example by the minister that said, he even mentioned that our chiefs are there in Senate. The Senate, which itself is political in nature. Should we therefore criminalize them for being in Senate and voting for one bill over another? By no means. So therefore, we should not take away their right to be politically active. On the Gender Commission, Mr. Speaker, sir, I support the coming together of the Gender and Human Rights Commission. I do, however, recommend that the provisions should be made to ensure priority to our women, as they are the most affected by human rights. To ensure this, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would propose a provision that the chairperson of the Human Rights Commission be a woman, and at least 60% of the commissioners be female. Doing so ensures the focus of gender issues is not diluted and strengthens the idea that direct representation of our women within the commission itself will keep gender matters at the forefront. I would want to make an example, Mr. Speaker. I would want to make an example of the Ministry of Women Affairs, Community, Small, Medium, and Enterprise Development. Though it focuses on women, as per the name, it is not entirely focused on women's matters. Hence the part of community, small, and medium enterprises. Shall we therefore make noise and say the ministry should be a standalone, and economic and small and medium enterprise should be standalone? By no means. If we can accept that the ministry, coupled with other related matters, can stand, then surely we can accept that the Gender Commission and the Human Rights Commission can be one thing. As I rush to conclude, Mr. Speaker, sir, let me say that this is Amendment Bill number 3. This means to say that we had Constitutional Amendment number 1 and Constitutional Amendment number 2. I stand before you today being a beneficiary of Constitutional Amendment number 2, amongst with many others here in this House. Yet, there was no such thing as a referendum. Constitutional Amendment number 2 brought about young parliamentarians like myself. It also brought about women to serve in local authorities through the amendment of Section 124 of our Constitution. This is empirical evidence that the Constitution is a living document, and it must adapt to the changing times and needs of a nation. It was high time that youth were taken and included in decision-making bodies such as Parliament. And this was delivered by Constitutional Amendment number 2. Now it is high time that we as Parliament follow the economic agenda set by President E.D. Mnangagwa And this will be delivered by Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. This bill will be our legacy as the 10th Parliament, as it signifies our direct intent to pushing the conversation towards nation building over political